We'll go ahead and get started with the program. My name's Dave McIver, and I'm your MC today. I'm a member of the Christian Business Luncheon Board. Do we have any first-time visitors today? If you do, just raise your hand. First-time visitors? Great. We appreciate y'all being here. Hope you find it a valuable use of your time today, and you'll come back next month. Give you a little information about our luncheons. We have them on the second Tuesdays of every month. There's no charge, but if you'd like to make a donation, we'd certainly appreciate that to help offset the cost of the food. We do have sponsorships available. They're $150 to sponsor one of our luncheons, and for that you get recognized here. We put out we have the e-blast with the chamber. We also put it on the community events chamber page, and you get recognized there. And again, if you have any questions about that sponsorship and would like to know more about it, please see one of the board members. We'd be glad to visit with you about that. And next month, our luncheon is going to be on August the 13th, and we're going to have Wade Hopkins, who's with the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. And I don't think we've had anybody here previously from the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, so that should be an interesting presentation. So everyone, please try to come see us this next month. And again, it's August the 13th. And on just some more exciting speakers we've got scheduled coming up this year. In November for our Veterans Day program, which is always have a great turnout for that. We've got Jim McInvale, better known as Mattress Mac, is scheduled to be our speaker that day. And then in February, Dr. Leanne Nutt, who's the president of Lone Star College here at Tomball, is scheduled to be our speaker. And at this time, we'd like everyone to pull out your cell phones and like us. Go to the Christian Business Luncheon and hit like. A couple of reasons that helps spread the word about these luncheons, and it also shows the sponsors the impact of their contribution. So we want to make sure that they get some recognition for that. Today's speaker, I'll go right into that. Today's speaker is Noel Vincent. Noel's an accomplished businessman who has spent more than 30 years serving investors in both Houston and the Northwest Harris County community, as well as in numerous states around the nation and several foreign countries. His firm, the Senior Partners Private Wealth Management, oversees assets exceeding $100 million. I'm going to let him talk about his business experience and his ministry, so I'll just do more personal stuff here. Noel earned his undergraduate and graduate degrees in theology and Christian apologetics at Southwestern Seminary and Biola University, respectively. He is currently working on a research PhD at the University of Aberdeen in the UK. He's an avid upland bird hunter and bass fisherman. Noel and his wife Stephanie have been married for 30 years, and their son Noah works in his dad's business and is a full-time student here at Lone Star College, where he is studying biomedical engineering. Their daughter Chelsea is a graduate student at Villanova University. Noel and his family are active members of the Calvary Chapel West Houston, where each is active in various ministries. His greatest joys are spending time with his family and facilitating spiritual life change in others. And we've had here Noel here as a speaker before. It's a very interesting speech or talk. I remember it. And so please join me in welcoming to the stage now Noel Vincent.
Glad to be here again. I really do have to say how glad I am to be here today. I was with you last year in February, and as Paul and John probably remember, I got very sick the day before I was to speak, and I woke up that morning and I was still sick. I couldn't get out of the bed. I couldn't get out longer than go straight to the restroom and straight back, and it was really bad. And I thought, how am I going to call Paul and tell him an hour before the luncheon that I can't be there? And so I just prayed and prayed and prayed, and I called my wife in, and she prayed with me, and I called my ministry partner, Stuart Sheehan, and we prayed together. And I rallied. I got up. I got dressed, I got in the car, I came here, I spoke, I went back home, and I got sick again. So today I feel pretty good. So Paul, thanks for letting me come back. I was maybe at half strength last time. The other half was the Holy Spirit. Today I feel like I have the Spirit and I'm at 100%. So thank you. Also, I do want to recognize Big John over here, John Rudinger. When I first met John, I think it's the second meeting we ever had many years ago, he said, hey, I'm involved in this Christian Business Luncheon, and you ought to come and join us and maybe come speak sometime. And I thought about that and wanted to do that, and finally got to last year, and I'm back again this year. So thanks, John, for introducing me to the group. I am what I call a bivocational missionary. Like the Apostle Paul, I'm a tent maker, I guess, as perhaps many of you are. I'm a modern tent maker, if you will. I run an investment firm, but I run that firm really largely to support my ministry habits. And I have a number of those. My education in theology was mentioned before, so I won't go back through all of that. But when I first started in seminary in 1999, just a few months later, some circumstances occurred, and I found myself planting a new church. I really was the accidental pastor. Another pastor from California was being sent by his 9,000-member church to come to Northwest Houston and plant a new church. And he asked me to get involved and help him do that. And we started a Bible study, and he was preparing to move his family. And then ultimately, he did not take the church over. He did not come and take that small fledgling group. And it grew into really a church. People were getting saved. People were getting discipled. People were going to church that hadn't been going to church before. And the thing grew. It was a Friday night event. And after, 6 months, the people asked me to just step in and become the pastor. And I was very ill-equipped for that because I hadn't had any formal training. I hadn't been to seminary yet. I was just getting started. But I took a leap of faith and ended up pastoring there for 12 years. And in 2012, I stepped down from that role when I was asked to join World Hope Bible Institute as associate director and provost, and I've been there now 7 years. And what I do at World Hope is really, I'm the chief academic officer there. I oversee the commissioning of curriculum, for example, and the curriculum editorial board. I write courses myself. I teach and travel internationally for the ministry and issued charters for new locations. And we have about 80 locations in 30 countries around the world. Just a couple weeks ago, I got back from Kathmandu, where I was speaking at our graduation there. We had 110 pastors and ministry leaders in Kathmandu, Nepal, who graduated our 4-year, 16-course program in theology. So I was excited to do that. So that's a terrific ministry that I'm involved in. I do miss being involved in the local church as a pastor. That was just such a passion for me. But I was called to World Hope, and I obeyed God's call. Now, today, I serve in my local church as a unofficial minister to families, I guess, at our church. Our church is a smaller church. We've got maybe 500 members, 400 or 500 members in our church. But I handle most of the family counseling, so premarital counseling all falls to me. Marriages in crisis, families with issues. I spend a lot of time counseling, and that's really my local outlet for ministry. Yesterday, I had lunch with an old pastor friend of mine. He's a pastor here in the area. He's got a fairly good-sized church. You'd know it if I mentioned it. And he was lamenting the need for godly, mature, grown-up Christians to help him carry the load in his church. And we talked about this for a few minutes. He said that he had too many capable bench warmers, too many people sitting on the bench that had experience, that had, even some of them had theological training or had been to Bible college, and they were just sitting the bench, or they were, maybe they were thinking that they took an occasional mission trip and they were really making a major contribution, or perhaps they were teaching a Bible study, and they had so much to give and so much to offer, and yet They really weren't doing a whole lot to help him carry the load, and it was hindering the growth of his church. He wasn't able to get to all the families and all the needs in his church because he just didn't have enough help there. And I felt that was an interesting conversation because of some of the things that I wanted to talk about with you today. And as business owners, or people that manage businesses or manage enterprises, I think there are a few pastors here. You manage an enterprise. Maybe it's a nonprofit enterprise, but an enterprise it is. And when God puts us in a position of responsibility to manage a business or manage a large enterprise, that is a special blessing that comes with some additional responsibilities. I know you all know Luke 12:48, but I'd like to read it for you. From everyone who has been given much, much will be demanded. And from the one who has been entrusted with much, much more will be asked. God's primary goal in blessing us with successful businesses or successful ministries is not merely so that we can enjoy the fruits of our labors or pass along our estates to the next generation. Not only those things, but he also blesses us so that we can be a blessing to those around us. Through our businesses, we can fulfill the great commandment. Jesus was asked, what is the greatest commandment in the law? And Jesus said, and I'll paraphrase, is to love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and your neighbor as yourself. To love God and to love others. And as Christian business people, we are all ministers of the gospel in the marketplace. And too many Christian business people today, I think they're sitting on the bench and maybe doing a little bit of work, a little bit of contribution, but their primary focus is their business. I remember once I'd been in business maybe 10 years. Today I run my second business. My first business was a little bit different, still in the investment arena, but it was in the retirement plan arena. I had about 120 financial advisors around the state. We had offices in 4 or 5 cities here, and I was extremely busy. I was on the road every other week visiting my other offices and trying to grow the business. And a man from the Gideons somehow or another got on my calendar and came to see me. And he said, Noel, we need business people like you to come in and help us distribute Bibles. And I thought, well, that's a worthy cause, but I don't have time for that. You're talking about, a couple of times a month, taking an entire afternoon to go to a school or go to a new hotel and distribute Bibles. I just can't even understand why you're asking business people as busy as they are, why you're asking them to do this kind of work. And he backed me up in a corner with his response. He said, Noel, you and I both know that busy people get things done. People that have all kinds of time because they can't get anything done. People that are very busy in life are the ones who are making things happen. So I said, okay, and sure enough, I found time in my schedule to go out to high schools and middle schools and hotels and pass out Bibles. And I was with the Gideons for several years until I enrolled in seminary. And you get kicked out if you're in the clergy. You can't be clergy in the Gideons. That's a business person's group. But there is, that was a good lesson for me because there is time in your schedule to serve the Lord more than you are. And I'm not here to pick on anyone today. I just want to encourage you to maybe re-examine how you're spending your time. I spend every Monday at World Hope conducting the affairs of the ministry along with the president, Dr. Sheehan. I spend some Tuesdays and even some Fridays if I have them free. I get over to the office. I have work to do, correspondence all over the world that I need to attend to. And I could spend that time in the business. I could spend that time doing more marketing or more coaching and training with my staff or trying to see more clients or spending more time traveling, learning about new investment programs that are out there. I could do that. But my business sustains me. I don't need to be an extremely wealthy person. God meets my needs through my business, and I think it's my obligation to spend the rest of my time serving Him. So again, I'm not here to make you feel guilty, maybe just to encourage you to think a little bit more about how you're spending your time and how much success do you really need in your business. Maybe you could shift some of that motivation, some of that passion to being more useful in ministry for the Lord and advancing His kingdom. Ministry should be our aim, and our businesses really should be the means. One more time, ministry ought to be our aim. How do we serve the Lord? I don't mean necessarily a formal ministry. It could be just evangelizing your neighbors, any form of ministry. But, when we got saved, when we became Christians, God didn't rapture us up or snatch us up into heaven that moment. We were left here. And the church has a purpose on the earth. The church is, I've heard it said, the only organization on earth that exists solely for non-members. I mean, that's why we're here, is to go out and win souls, to bring more people into the kingdom and disciple them up so that they can go out and do the same. Well, as Christians who've been blessed with successful businesses or businesses that are growing, we have a special obligation to not over-invest in our businesses for our own personal gain, but to find our sufficient sustenance there and take that excess time and devote it to serving our Lord. Remember, it's the Lord who has the power to give and withhold wealth. He told Israel that very thing in Deuteronomy 8:18. So just keep in mind that your experience, your spiritual maturity, and your resources can have an eternal impact on the kingdom in ways that you might not even see in this lifetime. I would ask you to sit down with your pastor. I think there were 3 pastors, Paul or Dave, in the room that raised their hands. Okay, how many pastors? One more time. Could I see there's one? We got one pastor in the room? All right, well, just one. Well, I'm sure that pastor's giving me quiet amens under his breath over there. That you should meet with your pastor about this particular question. Sit down with your pastor and ask him, how can you help? What can you do? Maybe you are teaching that Bible study or going on that mission trip, but your pastor needs you. Your church needs you. The Lord can use you if you will take that passion and those resources and some of that time that you're devoting to the business to get a little bit further ahead. If you'll redirect that toward the kingdom and meet with your pastor and ask him, I guarantee you he will put you to work. Amen, preacher? Amen. Amen. Well, that was sort of the sermon. Now I want to move on and sort of bridge to another subject which will lead eventually to my main subject. I'd like to devote the remainder of the time by offering some practical guidance on how to get a little bit more out of your business so that the Lord can get a little bit more out of you. Make your business run a little more smoothly and achieve many of the goals that you have perhaps a little sooner without necessarily devoting more and more and more and more of your time and energy. So I'll start with the first item, which is principles-based management. I use a simple principles-based management system that I developed over the last 25 or 30 odd years as a Christian businessman. It's really pretty simple. Your values, your personal values, drive your business principles. You need a good set of core values, and as a Christian, we have a set of core values that come directly from Scripture. The word values is a Middle English word that has a French root that comes from the concept of valor, V-A-L-O-R, valor. Values come from that root meaning of valor. So values or valor are the attributes that give strength and honor to your character, to my character. Our values give strength and honor to our character. When I coach successful financial advisors around the country, speaking at events or managing smaller training groups, I ask them to memorize this statement. Values drive principles. Principles guide decisions. Decisions become policies. Policies dictate actions, and actions produce results. Does that make sense? It's pretty straightforward. If you have particular values that come from your faith or come from your belief, that's going to drive the principles by which you conduct your business. I hope it drives the principles by which you conduct your business. And those principles guide your decisions. The decisions that you make come from your principles. If you don't stick to your principles as you're making decisions, your business is going to go all over the place and you're not going to find the shortest distance between where you are and where you want to be. The more you make those constant, consistent decisions or decisions that are consistent with your values and principles, the more you're actually developing the policies by which your business runs. And then policies dictate the actions that you take, and of course actions always produce results, good or bad. So everything starts with core values. Your values are the individual components of your character. Character matters above all. We see this in politics all the time. I won't go there. But character, and no pun intended, character trumps everything, including wealth and happiness. It ultimately triumphs in every worthwhile endeavor. Your character is your last word, if you will. It's your lasting legacy. And your character is your final defense. Your character is who you really are when only God is looking. It's who God knows you to be. And a good character, I think you will agree with me, satisfies like nothing else in life. Good character matters. And my values, of course, come from my Christian faith: honesty, faithfulness, excellence, self-discipline, industry, personal responsibility, diligence, self-control, generosity, hard work, to name several. If you do not have a good set of values, then your business, personal, spiritual life, they'll all founder. They'll all eventually end in shipwreck. So if honesty, for example, is a core value for you, then tell the truth. I mean, if your value is honesty, then your principle is tell the truth. It's really that simple. Telling the truth is a principle. Resolve to tell the truth in every area of your life. If you become a truth teller, then you'll be respected and trusted by people. More importantly, it's the right thing to do. So principles are the rules of the game. And your principles, the principles by which you operate, are the rules of your game, the rules of your business, of your enterprise. Break the rules and you might even find yourself ejected from the game. Follow the rules and win. Tell the truth, keep your promises, work hard, treat people with dignity and respect. Set a high bar, demand excellence from yourself and others. All of these are some of the life-defining principles that we should live by. I use these principles to train financial advisors around the country. I maintain a blog for that purpose where I discuss these matters. It's called thetotalpractice.com. You'll also find there a discussion of the concepts of mission, vision, and strategy. And this is really the core of what I'd like to talk about today. Mission, vision, and strategy. We all hear these words. We kick them around. Some of us maybe are actually using these words in our businesses, in our enterprises. These statements, mission, vision, and strategy, describe how you will go about intentionally building, managing, and growing your business or your enterprise. based on the values of your character. Some businesses are built maybe somewhat haphazardly over years as the owner surfs the economic landscape and adjusts to personal changes or flowing market opportunities. Others, though, are built more intentionally. And I've often asked a business owner about his or her mission, and then listened while the person happily describes the vision for the business. I'm asking about mission, and I'm being told about vision. I've asked others about strategy and heard mission explained to me. I've asked others about mission, vision, or strategy and just got blank stares. They're not sure what I'm really talking about. So there's a lot of ignorance. I don't mean that in a harsh way, but there is a lot of ignorance and confusion, I think, in this area. Mission, vision, and strategy describe really those three things. What you are doing, where you are going, and how you plan to get there. There have been a lot of well-meaning folks that have, formed committees, made honest errors in trying to develop these things, conducted focus groups, haggled over minutia, take months to write these elaborate mission, vision, and strategy statements only to set them aside and forget them or view them as unrealistic or too complicated or really out of touch with the real world. They seem to sort of take on a life of their own, and next thing you know, they're just irrelevant. And they don't really have any impact on the business or on the enterprise. Conversely, others have written excellent statements and then erred in their implementation because they allowed them to become really just trite platitudes with no real force or meaning. But there is a better way. So I don't want to insult your intelligence or your knowledge of these matters. If I'm speaking about things about which you're well informed, feel free to take your nap now. But if these are ideas that you would like to maybe understand a little bit more clearly or maybe have a better grasp on, then give me a few more minutes of your attention if you would. So what is a mission statement? Well, before you can write one, you really have to understand exactly what a mission statement is and what it does. A mission statement is a pithy summary of what your business ought to be doing. What it ought to be doing. Your mission is what you ought to be doing. When a NASA space shuttle, for example, blasts into outer space on a new mission, there are always several mission specialists on board who have lists of objectives that they intend to accomplish on their journey. Their missions are what they are supposed to be doing, right? They're not just going out to explore a little and see what happens and take notes and come back. They actually have things they're going to do. That's their mission. So the mission of my practice, Senior Partners Private Wealth Management, is to provide the finest relationship experience in our market. We know that we're in competition with Merrill Lynch, for example, and Fidelity Investments, Edward Jones, a host of other big-name wirehouses and investment firms. They have thousands of employees. I have 10. They have research departments. I have an associate planner, a DAX. They've got advertising budgets. I rely on word of mouth. They have fancy downtown offices. I'm out in the neighborhood. They're household names, but I can provide a superior relationship experience. My average meeting with a client is 2 hours. Even if we're there just to sign some paperwork or maybe discuss one particular issue on their mind, I want to invest that time. I'd rather invest more time in fewer clients and have good, strong relationships than less time and try to run people through as fast as possibly can. I was in Turkey a few weeks ago with my daughter Chelsea, who just graduated from grad school. And it reminded me of one of my favorite sayings, is that I would rather have a cup of Turkish espresso than a cup of cafe au lait. I want something that's small and stout and potent, that gets things done, makes an impact, rather than something that's watered down, weak, that's not very deep, not very impactful in my life or anyone else's life. And certainly in my business, I take that same approach. So Merrill Lynch and Fidelity, those are good companies, and I'm not picking on them today, but they can't match the time that I can spend with a client and the time I can spend investing in a relationship with my clients. Consequently, we win customers from those institutions every single day. So why a mission statement? Well, it's a rallying point, and it's a decision screener. A rallying point and a decision screener. First, the rallying point. People have trouble getting excited and committed to vague notions of purpose. They want to know what they're supposed to be doing so that they can accomplish their tasks, so that they can find satisfaction in their work. Without a clear mission, people, your staff, your employees, your person, yourself, can become listless. You can become robotic. You can get burned out. Your employees can become time card punchers, longing for quitting time and daydreaming about the weekend, surfing the internet when nobody's looking. But if you give people a mission, something they can sink their teeth into, watch them take pride in their work. Watch their attitude start to shift a little, start to sharpen their focus on what they're doing. Watch them start to become self-starters, continuously improve, and even set their own goals in the workplace, in their jobs. Wouldn't it be nice if all of your employees and all the people that work for you or worked under you or over whom you had authority came to you and expressed their goals for their role in your enterprise? Hey, these are the things I want to get done. These are the things, now that I know what we're trying to do with the business, here's how I'm going to attack that. Here's how I'm going to go after that. I've seen this in my own business. For a number of years, I've been in business now for 1985, somebody do the math. I've been in business that long. I've run 2 companies, and I was probably 5 years into my business life before these concepts started to make any sense to me, and I realized the need for them. So I've seen these things happen in my own business. Second, a mission statement is a decision screener. Now this is really important. Every decision gets screened by the mission statement. If it doesn't serve the mission in my office, in our business, we don't do it. If it doesn't serve the mission, we just simply don't do it. So if we're in a discussion in a staff meeting and an idea comes up and we're kicking it around, maybe I even like the idea, but somebody says, hey, how does that serve the mission? If we can't get a good response there, even if I like the idea, I've got to be disciplined to back away from that and let go and keep moving until an idea arises that actually serves the mission. Otherwise, we're not going to have any clear direction in our business and things are going to slow down. Yeah, we might still be successful, but we might be able to be more successful with less time if we had a little sharper focus. And a mission statement helps us screen out our decisions. As I've coached my team on the mission of our practice, there now are far fewer decisions that come to me. Now that people know what the mission is, often they can come and say, hey, Noel, I've got an issue. Maybe my operations director, Jeff, comes to me and he says, hey, Noel, I got a problem. And I say, why don't you check with the operations director about that? And have him have a look at the mission statement and get back to you. Of course, I'm asking Jeff to talk to himself about what he knows the mission to be, and his eyebrows go up, a smile comes on his face. Got you, boss. I got you. Okay, I didn't think that through. I was lazy, and I was coming in here using your brain when I could have simply used my own. Our mission statement does that. It helps people make their own decisions so that fewer decisions come to me. My staff knows that we're in the relationship business. That's our mission, to provide the premier relationship to our clients in our market area. There's nobody else that I know of in our area, Champion Forest in 1960, that's able to do that. If there are, God bless them, I haven't heard about them, and I've been down there for 15 or 16 years. The mission statement empowers your staff. It really empowers you too, and it empowers the business. It empowers the enterprise. They can make decisions, the staff can make decisions on their own now because they have some of the tools and they have some of the guidelines and the guardrails within which they can make decisions, because the mission statement serves as a set of guardrails on a long high bridge, for example. So the client reaps the rewards of a more efficient, focused, savvy, and then I'll let you insert here what you do. Maybe you're a manufacturer or a supplier or an agent or a service provider. You're going to be a lot better, a lot stronger if the team behind you is better and stronger. And a mission statement can be the kind of a thing that can give them more strength, more power, more self-motivation, and more authority to move forward without your involvement. And it can free you up quite a bit. So if you don't have a good mission statement, you and your team are not going to make the best decisions. Now, what about vision statement? How's the time? A few more minutes, Paul? Yeah, looking good? All right. What is a vision statement? Well, if a mission statement is what you ought to be doing, a vision statement is a pithy description of what you want your business or your organization or your life to look like if you actually live out your mission. So if your mission is to do X and you live that out, what will that lead to in the future? That's the vision. I ask a person, what's your mission? They often give me the vision, right? But the mission's what you ought to be doing. The vision's what it's going to look like if you follow your mission. Does that make sense? That's pretty straightforward. So many people work at making their businesses successful, but at best, maybe sometimes, some of them have only a fuzzy idea about the future. Sure, they want more customers, they want more income. I mean, that's success, right? That's what success is all about, is trying to get more customers, more business, more revenue, more profit. Reaching those goals. But if you don't know what it looks like, what you expect it to look like, you're going to have trouble getting there. It's been said often, and I think very accurately, if you don't know where you're going, any road will get you there. Take any path you like. But if you know where you're going, you can map a course. Where are you going? What do you want your future business to look like? It's time to dream a little bit and think about that. What realistic, satisfying future can you conceive of that would get your juices flowing, get you excited, maybe reinvigorate your passion for what you're doing? Maybe you're kind of tired of what you're doing and you've been doing it a long time, and yeah, you make good money at it, but it's getting to be drudgery and you don't want to go in. Well, spend more time doing ministry and free yourself up with a mission, vision, and strategy statement that really works in your business. The vision of my practice is to become the premier wealth manager in our market. I don't necessarily want to be the biggest. I don't think I would be the biggest. I spend too much time doing other things, mostly ministry. And certainly I'd like to be the best, but markets, economies, investments don't always cooperate. There's always someone else out there that might be a little bigger or might be a little better than me. Being the best is something to strive for, yes, and we do. That's important to us. However, it's not the primary objective of the business. I want to be the exclusive boutique go-to practice for the most affluent clients in my area. I want joining my firm, if you can believe this, I want joining my firm as a client to be the equivalent of getting accepted into the coolest club in town. Now, we're not there, but that's where we're headed. That's what we're trying to become. That's what we're shooting for. And that is the result of us following our mission to provide that exclusive relationship to our clients every single day. Everyone knows that a glass ceiling can throw a wet rag on even the most ambitious person. Your staff members have desires and goals too. They're people too. They want to get somewhere. They want to do something valuable and useful. They want to be a part of something that matters. And they hope to achieve many of their life goals, please listen, maybe you've never thought of this, through your business. They're there, and they're not the only person that has passion. They're not the only person that wants to do something useful and valuable, that wants to be able to look at their work and see something satisfying, something that impacted someone else, something that was useful. Us as business owners, sometimes we think we're the only people that do that. We're the only ones in the organization that really feel that way. But a mission, vision, and strategy statement can turn that on its head. It can open the floodgates to allow your staff to really start to find ways of satisfying themselves through your business. So without a vision statement, your people are forced to operate under a glass ceiling of ambiguity and failure. A vision statement removes the glass ceiling, and it's a breath of fresh air for those that are suffering in a job that they may feel has no future. I mean, we've all got jobs on among our staff that there is no future in that job. But a mission and a vision statement can put a person in those jobs in a position of finding satisfaction in their work, finding some passion for what they're doing, even though there may be not much of a future. You may find that that person now is a person that should be pulled out of that job and put into a job with more potential because you've given them these tools and these guardrails and these guides. When your team understands your vision, they can navigate for themselves and carve out a future of their own. Proverbs 29:18 says, without vision, the people perish. So in the last few minutes, let me talk about what is a statement of strategy. The statement of strategy is the bridge between your mission and your vision. So your mission is what you ought to be doing, right? Your vision is what it will look like if you do it. And the strategy is the bridge that gets you from day-to-day mission to vision. There's got to be a strategy in place. The strategy can't be, I'm going to show up at work and see what happens today, and then I'm going to try to surf and navigate that and make really good decisions, and then go home at the end of the day and hopefully I've had some success. A strategy statement will give you very specific guidelines about how you're going to achieve that vision that's in your mind and in your heart, the vision that you've cast for your staff. So it's how you're going to get there. It takes you from where you are and what you're doing to where you want to go and what you want to become. You know what you ought to be doing, that's your mission. You know what you want to become, that's your vision. Now you need to write out a brief plan, not a 10-pager, not a tome, not an epistle, one page. Write out a brief plan for getting there. Just bullet point it out. Something pithy that's easy to remember. It should be only long enough to convey the key thoughts. Think about the how of getting there. Here's my firm's strategy. It's just a few words. It's not even a half a page. Concierge service, real diversification, and complete management. Those are very simple. That's our strategy. Concierge service refers to the extra special care we try to give to every client to make every client appointment a memorable event. I want my clients going back down the elevator feeling like, hey, we got everything done we wanted to get done, but what a nice visit with Noel and his staff. I love these people. I feel like I'm at home when I'm here. That's what we're shooting for. Real diversification regards our university endowment model approach to portfolio allocation. There's more to just stocks and bonds out there and annuities. Those are good tools that can be used. There are a lot of other things out there that can be used as well, and we bring those into our practice. And then complete management encompasses all our in-house professional services. We have a certified public accountant on staff who does the tax returns for our clients and does tax management. We do estate planning with our on-staff attorney. who's leaving us, John. Her mom is not doing well, and she's moving to Wichita, back home. So we're looking for a new estate planning attorney. If you guys know of anyone, have them give me a call or shoot me an email. Noel@noelvincent.com. So what are the key strategies that you'll employ to bring about the realization of your vision? I want you to think about that for just a second. Maybe you've thought about it, but you haven't really settled on anything, and I'm just calling you to do that, to think about how you're going to get from what you're doing, what your mission is every day, to what you want to become. What's the strategy? What are the steps that you and your staff, you and your people need to take, you and your partners need to take to get where you want to go? You can get there if you have a map. Is someone else modeling the strategies for you to follow, or are you blazing your own trail? If the latter, then you should be flexible. Constantly compare your strategy against your results. Make adjustments, experiment, take risks until you find your unique profit formula. Then keep refining it, and remember that the longest journey begins with the first step. Keep taking steps toward your vision, and you will eventually get there. Now, final word on communication. The best laid plans of mice and men oft go astray. Who wrote that? Somebody say John Steinbeck. The best laid plans of mice and men oft go astray. Prepare your mission, your vision, and your strategy statements, and then live and breathe them. Don't put them in a drawer or print them on your letterhead, and now it's just something that, everybody forgets about. Become so in tune with them that they begin to permeate every action, plan, and decision you and your staff make. Communication is the key. Not only must you become immersed in your mission, vision, and strategy, but your staff and your clients must be as well. My clients know that I'm after a relationship, because some of my clients come in and they're like, Noel, look, I know you want to talk about a lot of stuff, and we're going to get off into golf and fishing and all these other things, but I really want to get these things done today. Okay, great. Let's do all those. We'll get those out of the way, and then we still talk for an hour and a half. John? Because I love these people. And many of them I know for a fact, because they tell me they love me, including this guy right here. They've told me that, So that's what I'm after. That's what I'm trying to get to. And it's working. So your staff, review your statements at every staff meeting. Keep them pithy and short enough that you can review them, that everyone can learn them, because once you review them enough and learn them, they will become part of what you're doing every day. How you make decisions, actions you take, plans that you make. Explain how this decision will bring us closer to realizing our vision, or how it serves our mission. If it doesn't, if it's not part of the strategy, then set it aside and keep looking and keep going. Finally, your clients. Share your mission, business strategy with your clients. Not only will they appreciate being brought into your trusted inner circle, they'll also be better positioned to explain your business, your practice, your firm to other potential customers for your business who may wish to become your customers and clients. The better a satisfied client understands your business, the more effective he or she will be in recommending the right people to you. Thank you.